Hello everybody, my name is Maxime Tifino and I will cover today in this workshop the new 3DESIGN V12 which has been released a few days ago. So in this workshop I want to cover with you all the technical points and the main improvements we have currently in this new version. So let's start with the new realistic real-time display we have in this version. Currently, you can have that on our website. Just for you to understand, you can see the difference between the V11 and the V12 we have today. So this is available on our website, and you can play with this slider which shows perfectly the differences between the V11 and the V12. So let's jump to the 3DESIGN software, and I will explain you what is this new technology and what are the options we can have with this real-time display. So in 3DESIGN now we have a new realistic real-time display. You can see the differences, especially on the reflection, the aspect of the metal and the stones, the transparency in the stones, the reflections, the effects we have on the stones regarding the refraction, the blinking effect we have on the diamonds and ruby currently. Everything is more realistic comparing to the V11 and the previous versions. So for that, and next to that, we have a dedicated window, properties window, that you can access through the 3DESIGN logo or directly for Apple users, directly in the new menu we have on the top. This is something I cannot display because currently I am on Windows, but now for Mac users, all the menu is on the top. So we wanted to follow the philosophy of Apple applications. So now you don't have the access to this menu directly from the logo, but everything is on the top. For Windows users, you can still use the 3DESIGN logo and you have to access directly in View and 3D viewer settings. So for Apple users, it will be directly View on the top and 3D viewer settings. So what are the options and how I can modify, adjust everything regarding this incredible new display, real-time display we have in V12? So first of all, I wanted to be focused on the option we have regarding the GPU. Graphic cards. Currently, I have a laptop with 2 graphic cards inside. With this new option, you don't have anymore to set your high performances graphic card before you start 3DESIGN. It was something needed with the V11 and previous versions. Now with the V12, directly the software will set automatically the high performances graphic card. So you don't have to be worried about that, and you're sure that the software will be setted well according to your high performances graphic card. In case you have the Intel setted, because it can be something we had with different users according to the configuration of your computer or computer things. Let's say it happens. So be sure that if you have this in the list and you have the Intel setted and you have maybe an NVIDIA or AMD graphic card, it is better to set the high performances graphic card. But normally, this is automatic, you don't have to do, but better if you double check. This will change how the software will be smooth or not when you turn, when you display, when you rotate, or when you zoom. We preconize to have something which is a graphic card, which is preconized for a 3D software. So this is the first thing you have to check. Again, normally it is something which is automatic, but I wanted to explain you and provide you the technical points. This is also why we organize this type of workshop because you have to understand everything in the software. So secondly, I would like also to talk about the cube map. The cube map is the picture which will be reflected on your metals, plastic, fabric, anything you display in your 3D scene. With 3DESIGN and the new version 12, we have two cube maps, one which will be for the material, globally I mean the metals, the fabric, the plastic, and one will be dedicated for stones. We discovered that it is better to have different cube maps regarding the stones and the other materials, because on certain stones or certain creations, you have the reflection and the picture which is reflected in the stones, which is not the best if we use the same one as a cube map for the metals or other materials. So we prefer to separate one cube map for the metal or the plastic, anything except the stones, and one which is dedicated for the stones. So you have those two pictures which can be changed directly from this hand that you know already, and we have this one also in V11. It's everything you have, every time, you have to select something, you click on that one, and automatically we will have the pictures database opened, and inside you have some cube maps that we decided to set by default in the software. So for the material, this is the one you know already in the V11. This file is town scene. So we are outside and we decided that this will be the best for the metals. If you want to change, you have the access directly to the pictures you have directly by default in the cube maps folder. So if you want, we can have that one, and it will change the reflections, the colors, let's say also the intensity of the light, different reflections that we don't have with the town scene inside. You see we have black areas inside, so it can be something that you like and you want to display on your creations. So it's up to you. You have to select the picture directly from the database by default, or after that I will explain you how you can set your own picture, which will be a specific kind of file. This file will be HDR, so we need absolutely to download from internet. You have plenty of pictures with this extension you can use for free, and I will explain you after the cube map for the stones how you can do that. So we have the same possibility regarding the stones, so you just have to click on this icon, and then I can change, for example, with that one, which is forest scene that we used in V11 for the stones, and you can see that it changes the color, the aspect of the stones, the transparency. You have another feeling, and it can be also something you prefer and you would like to have for your stones. So mainly we see the difference with the diamonds. For the ruby, as we have the red color, we feel a little bit less the modification. So if you have to adjust and if you have to decide which cube map you want for the stones, better if you do it first on a diamond. So voila, so it can change also the color of the transparent stones, I mean mainly the diamonds. When you have a cube map which is like that one, which is more artistic comparing to the other one, which are studio or outside area like town scene, or that one which is glass passage, which is in a garden, I think, I don't remember exactly. So if I use that one, it affects automatically also the color of the stone, especially the diamonds, they are more or less white and transparent, and we don't have an extra color like with the ruby. And you can see that we have now the purple color inside, which can affect a lot the aspect of your creation. So be sure you have something which is more or less logic regarding the cube map you use for the stones. But it's up to you. Again, we have the possibility to change, and when this one is setted, I mean those cube maps are setted, it will be saved, and they will be the same for all your creations. So you have to do only one time. Maybe for others creations, like if you have a pendant or earrings or anything, maybe you will have and you will feel that you have to change cube maps according to the creation. So no worries, you can do at any time. You just have to open again this window and set the pictures. So how can I set my own cube map? You just have to, I will do the example, and at the same time it can be good for you to see one website we used for the V12. That's a really good website, which is that one. You can type it on your Internet Explorer, and then you have thousands of HDR picture, outside, inside, studio, etc. And they are free, and they are also with good resolution. I think you can download them until 20K. Not necessary to have such resolution for your picture, but I really like this website. So if you want, and if you want to try some other reflection for your creation and the aspect of your creations, I invite you to visit this website and download a picture. For example, I will download that one. So you just have to click on the HDR you want to download. You click on this button. So for sure, as it's free, you have plenty of ads. But anyway, I will close that one. And then inside 3DESIGN, I come back in 3DESIGN. I will have to add this picture in my picture database. So for that, I need to click on this one, Open Database, and then I go in my user data. So this is in French because my Windows is in French, but you have user data at your side, and you go directly in Cube Map. If you want, you can reorganize as you wish with different folders. Maybe Cube Maps inside, Cube Maps outside, etc. And inside you can add the one I downloaded. So you just have to select which one you want to insert in your database. I think it was that one. And automatically the software will recognize that we have HDR picture. We advise you to use HDR picture. You have specific things inside this file, and the software will recognize automatically. And as you can see, we have the normal view, which is there on the left, and the flat, the unwrapped picture on a cube on the main screen you have on the right. So you have the possibility to change how the picture is orientated, so you can modify, you see, as you were on the center of the sphere, and you turn and you look all around you, and you can decide how you want to orientate. So this will affect the reflections you have on your metal especially. And then you have also the possibility to change the brightness and the contrast with the slider. So you don't need to use a Photoshop, for example, if you want to have something which is bright or not. And you can also change the contrast. Voila. So when I'm happy with the modification, I can validate. And directly now, if I close the database, I can use my own HDR picture directly, and it will change completely the aspect of the metal. So I can have, you can see I have some other pictures, so I can use that one, which is HDR from inside, and that one also. So as you, it's according to your feeling and according to how you want to display, how you want to work, or when you have to do a screenshot of your creation, or if you feel that maybe that one will be the best. I mean, when you visit this website, you feel that maybe maybe it will be better to have something from a studio or something which is outside for the stones. For example, that one. So I'll let you try, and it is according to your feeling and what you like regarding the reflections and the aspects of your metals and your stones. So I come back on 3Design and I change with the one by default, which is that one. Quite nice. We decided to use that one by default. So that's the same for the stones. Mainly for the stones, you need a lot of details, or the contrast must be really high. Then you see, we can see on the roof, we have some piece of steel, and this will affect a lot the aspect of the stones, especially for the you see the colors and the black areas we have in the stones. So I'll let you try. Now you see how, and you know how to change and what is the type of file you can use in this window, and you have now all the secrets of these cube maps. So regarding the other options we have in this window, we have also the possibility to change the quality of the reflections. So as you can see, currently I am really high quality. This will be in fact the reflections you have in the object, so it affects mainly when you have, for example, this object inside the two rings. This will be directly reflected inside my ring. It will affect also the prongs. When you have a stone on it, you can see that we can see the stone in the prongs, and this you can change, so you can deactivate it. And you also have in between the low quality and the medium quality. So according to what you have to do, for example, when you want to work and you want to be concentrated only on the 3D side, I mean, you don't need the reflections for your daily use, we can say. You can deactivate it. But if you have to do a screenshot and you have to use these reflections to promote or to display what is the final result to your clients or your designer team, or anybody you want to show your ring or anything, this can be activated directly from this window. So up to you again. Disable it. High quality. I like to use the high quality, especially when I have to do a video or a screenshot. I will explain to you how to do a video and a really high quality screenshot. And then we can talk about the light intensity 1 and 2. So for that, I have to explain you with a sphere. It will be easier for me to show you what is the difference regarding the intensity, and I will add my plastic. So let's say red one. Oh yes, by the way, maybe I can show you that also. The reflections are also with other objects you have on your scene. So if, for example, I have a sphere inside my ring, why not? You have this reflection regarding the sphere in the ring also. And then it will be also according to the distance. We have a maximum distance and minimum distance for the reflections. So if you have a big offset between the objects, you will have less reflections in the ring, for example. So this is why also we have reflections regarding the red inside there. You can see inside the ring. So this also is good to know, as we have the real and the physical properties of the reflections regarding the different objects you have on your scene. So let's hide the sphere. No, I will not hide the sphere because I need to explain you something regarding the intensity. So let's change only the position. So in fact, the intensity, you imagine you have two spotlights in your scene, like you are in a studio. They will have the same position, they stay at the same position, but you can change the intensity of them just in moving. You see you have one on the right and at the left, like that. So this will affect especially the reflection on the metals, not the metals, I wanted to say the plastics, the fabric, the pearl, cabochon, for example, not the metals, because we have different physical properties on the metals and the stones. Let's say it will be easier to explain with an example. So let's open it and display it with the gold. So you can see that we have the intensity on the right and the left, but we can feel that even if I have the reflection and the position of my spotlight, we change only, you can see, in a small area the intensity of the light. So this is directly included in the materials properties for metals and stones. So when you have to change the intensity, again, it will be more related for plastics or others materials you have, for example. And this is also a good opportunity for me to show you that in the database, the library, we have ring displays, so they are new, and we have also ring boxes. For example, if I use that one, so you know how to use and how to drag and drop something in your 3D scene. Just a double click, or you can drag and drop, and yes, you can see that it will affect mainly the fabrics. Or so when you have to do a screenshot with a ring box and maybe you want to have less intensity, less light and reflection on the left, you can imagine to reduce this value from the slider, and something you can also customize. So mainly when I do that, I prefer to have the one on the left, which is around 10, and that one around 60. So you have different intensity on the spotlights, and it brings something which is quite nice for the screenshot. So let's hide this ring box. So what else in this window? We have also, so let's hide the spheres now, I can, and we will be focused on the pre-selection intensity. You remember that in V11, when you move your mouse on an object, you have a kind of, but this is not a kind, this is a highlight directly on the object, so it shows where you will select. So this is why we say pre-selection. And this can be sometimes a bit annoying, so we decided to change and to provide the possibility to change the intensity of this pre-selection. So it means that if you do And if you move it to 0, you will not have anymore this intensity, and it will be something. At my side, I prefer to be like that, but you have also the opposite. If you prefer to have something which is really high to see well where will be your selection, you can also put it at the maximum. So why I can move to 0, it is also because now we have the pre-selection outline. So it shows, so this can be also on a stone. Let's say I want a stone on the middle. So as you can see, it shows the outside, the outline of my object, so it can help a lot to see where will be my selection. So this is something also new in the V12, so I can see where is my selection, and also when I have a group of objects, you can see, plus the bounding boxes, you can see that I will select my 6 stones in one time. So this is also something new. You can disable it for sure. If you prefer to have only the pre-selection, the highlight, you can have that one and this one disabled. Voila. Regarding the anti-aliasing, this will be something we adjust, especially for the borders. It avoids to have pixels and low quality regarding your objects. So this is related only for the visual side. It is not related to the quality of your STL for sure. This is only for the real-time rendering. So if you have, for example, a 4K screen and you don't want to have pixels on the borders or on the line, it's better to stay activated like that. So I will show you the difference without and with. So let's zoom on it. We can see, especially on the lines, you can see we have aliasing on the white line, and if I enable it again, I don't have anymore the pixels and the steps on the lines. So it brings better quality to your object and the visual aspect. Shadows, I think you understood, but let's say, for example, if I draw, just draw up, just turn this, okay, and then inside, I will disable the reflection, and yeah, perfect. So as you can see, we have the shadows enabled, by default. So you can see that it's darker because we have the stone plus the shadow inside. We can see also the shadows directly on the diamonds you see in this area. So it is also to make more realistic your creation. I know that sometimes when you are really in the conception of your objects, it's better to disable the shadows, but it can be also a good advantage for you to bring more realism in your 3D scene. So this is something we can have also in the options. And finally, the rotate environment with camera. It means that you have two choices. If you want, imagine again you have the cube map, so it is a really big sphere you have around your object. And if you want to stay at the same position with the picture, you don't want the sphere and the picture rotating in the same time, it can be possible. And this affects the position of the reflection. So it is like I have the ring in my hand and I'm moving the ring, and according the room where I am or the area where I am, I will have different reflection on my object. So this is the reality. But now we have this option in 3Design because we discovered that if we have also the picture turning in the same time than the camera, it will be sometimes, especially for the stones on the top, it will be sometimes better comparing to have the picture fixed, I mean at the same position. So that's something you can also try and see what is the best option for your creation. You see, if I do not activate this option, when I am in top view, this is really bright on the stones. So if I rotate with the picture, even if I am on the top view, I stay at something which is more or less reasonable. So again, I'll let you test and see what is the best option for you. That's all for the properties regarding the 3D viewer settings. Let's just explain. I know most of you know this possibility, but I wanted to explain you again. If you want to have the 3D viewer settings access in your quick access toolbar, you can drag and drop this icon directly in the quick access toolbar. This is why I have the eye directly there. So it allows me to access directly as I will say more or less I need often this window to play with the light intensity or the shadows or the quality of the reflections. It is for me better to have this directly in my quick access toolbar. So let's continue with the other effect and shaders we have in 3DESIGN V12. Just something which is important I wanted to say also. There are no differences between Windows and Mac like before regarding the display. It's exactly the same in Windows and exactly the same in Mac computers. So that's also a good point I wanted to highlight. So let's continue with the other display modes we have in the V12. You know them already, but we improved, for example, lots the transparency. I select my object and I use the space bar 2 times, then I go straight to the freeze mode. So you can see that now my object is transparent. This is something you know already in the V11. But as you can see, the transparency is, I don't want to say 100 times better, but it's definitely better than in V11. We can feel better the front and the back. You can analyze really what is inside your object, the intersections, where are the stones if I need to move down a little bit, and it is easier to read and analyze your 3D object thanks to this new transparency mode through the new technology we have in 3DESIGN V12. So that's something which will be really helpful for you, as you have to analyze, you have to check, you have to see what is inside, not inside, the intersections, etc. So that's a really good point we have in this version. After you discovered also that the blue, the selection for the blue is better, the effect is better, it's more modern, so that's a little thing, but I really like it, better than the previous versions. And finally, we have also, if I go in my tree and I want to display, let's say, all the curves I have on my objects. Finally, also regarding the extraction, or if you have like curve you projected on your object, we can really feel better and read better the position and where is exactly my stone. I don't like before, overlay with my metal and my curve, we can see where is the curve, even if I'm not clearly zoomed on my object. I can select the curve and I see really where is my curve. So this is something again which is not crazy regarding the improvement, but it will help a lot, and it will bring more responsivity in your selection, and you better analyze. You will work faster through this new display for the curves, especially when they are projected on the objects. Then, what is also something I wanted to explain, which is really, really important in the V12, this is the simplified display. Because even if I really like the new display, it's so much realistic, and it will be really nice to promote and to share and to feel better your creation and what it will look like, it will look in the future, in reality, I mean. But we have also some point which is how I will be comfortable with this display when I work 7 hours per day. This can be something which will be a little bit tricky to analyze, even annoying with too much reflections, etc. So as we need to analyze and we need to be really focused on the 3D object, we decided to create a simplified mode, which is more a 3D mode. And this will be available from the 3D logo, 3DESIGN logo, or directly for Apple users in the menu. You just have to go on View, and then you have there Enable Simplified Rendering. So I prefer to show you this direction. You will see that we have a shortcut, but as I need to talk about the new right click after, it's better if I go via this direction. So 3Design, View, and Enable Simplified Display. And automatically you will have a 3D mode, I call that 3D mode, which is easier for you to be in the conception mode without reflection. I can even go to my properties regarding the display settings, and I can disable the shadows, and you will see that it will be better for you to work and to analyze, to project, to do anything you have to do on your ring without all those real-time display and realistic display properties. So you just have to switch between, and for that, and now I can talk about the new right-click menu, we developed this new right-click menu. The name is Iris. You just have to right-click because, as I said, this is new on the right-click. And then inside you have the possibility to change the display mode from the icon you have on the center. As I organized the same workshop in French, I forgot to change this, but this will be a good opportunity for me to explain that this button we have on the center can be customized. So how we can customize? Because normally, let's do it by default. So I will just come back by default in clicking directly in customize there, and I will cancel that one. Up. Yeah, there we go. We are like you if you didn't change the favorite icon you have on the center. So mainly by default you have the simplified default mode you have on the center. You just have to click on it and it switches directly with the real-time realistic display or the simplified rendering display. So this is something you have new in the right click. So now I have to explain how to change the icon on the center, because you discovered that we can do that. So it is really simple. You have two options. So first one, you go to Tools and Customize. And then you have their favorites, and you can tick which one will be your favorite. So you can, for example, say, oh, often I do a screenshot, so I can do my screenshot there. I say OK. And now when I right click, I have directly the screenshot on my icon I have on the center. And if you know also, you have the possibility to set the favorites directly from this icon. You go to your on Create Editor, you display the favorites there, and then the first one you have in the icon will be the one you will have on the center. So this is why I removed, for example, that one. And I can say I want to have maybe the 3D viewer setting. So if I right click, I will have the 3D viewer settings directly on the center. So this is the two ways you can set the icon you have on the center of the iris. So regarding the right click, how you can use it and why we decided to develop such kind of 360 degrees menu. Mainly, we discovered that we have a lot of users. They know how to use the right click, and mainly they use the hide, freeze, show, export. But we have plenty and other features which are really helpful, but not mainly used by our users. So we decided to have this, which is better to understand, more clear with icons, which is bigger, or you can even also change the size of the iris if you want. I will show you how to change the size, especially for the users. They have a 4K screen, for example. So I will show you how to change the size of this iris. And as I said, it will be easier to access to some features which are really helpful. So how to use it? So you can navigate with the mouse in moving the cursor directly around the icons you want to go. And you can also use the scroll. So I don't have, for example, to turn all around the iris. I just have to change there the position of my cursor, and then I go downward with my scroll, and I can do that also upward. So I scroll in the other direction, and it will change the rotation of the iris. So you don't have to navigate like I want to turn around. It is also something if, for example, you want to stay there and you want to access to the hide, freeze, and show, you just have to scroll 3 times, and then you can click directly, and it will be easier. So this is the good thing you have to know regarding the iris. And then let's talk about what we have in this iris menu. So let's create, let's say I want to create a stone. Voila. And on this stone, I will do an extrusion that I want to have in white gold. And that's all. So imagine you want to edit this stone. Yes, for sure, you can double click on it, but you have to know also that you can access to this menu, which is manage item. So it means that I can undo. So this is where you will have your undo. If I want to undo the extrusion, I can undo it directly there. So I will have back my stone in the tree, or the we call that children inside the item. If I have in my extrusion 2 curves, I will have back the 2 curves or the 2 stones or everything I had in my main item. So you can use the undo, you can remove it, you can create a copy of. So this can be useful especially for stones when you have to create a new stones next to. So you can clone it and you have automatically the properties opened. So that's a good thing. And then I can also edit it. So it's like the double click. it's up to you, but it's good to know that you have all those features directly in the menu, which is Manage Item. Secondly, you have also export in the library, so you know that. Export into STL, OBJ, etc. That one, hide, freeze, and show, so you can access to the 3 modes, or you just have to click 3 times if you want to change the aspect of your stone, for example, if you want to show it again. Then this is the topology display, something which is again another kind of display. For example, if you want to analyze the topology of your extrusion, you can have it directly there, so I can see where is my edge, the starting point of my curve, which is the stone mainly currently, sorry, and then I can have back the normal display mode directly in clicking again. And then I can change the color of the topology or remove the color of the topology. Zoom on the selection. So I just have to select where I want to be focused on, and this will be on the stone I selected previously. And you have also the zoom to the tree to see where is my stone exactly when you have to search it, if you want to rename it or anything you want to do. If you want to have quickly the highlight in your tree, you can focus it directly in the tree. That one is the features that you can apply on the stone. So the software shows you what is possible to do on a stone. Maybe you didn't know that we can do an extrusion on a stone. That's a good thing that you can see what are the features that the software proposed to me according to my selection. If it's a curve, maybe I can do an extrusion or a sweep. If it's a plane, I can do a sketch on it, etc., etc. So this is better because again, you see, we are following the shape of the circle or of the iris menu, and you can, again, you don't have to move, you just have to move your scroll and then you search or you select what you have to do. For example, my extrusion. So I can work really fast and I stay focused on the center. So that's a really good point. That one is if I want to repeat the features I used before. So I used the extrusion, the stone, the sphere, and the material for the colors. So I have like a history of my features I used before. So that's also a good point if you want to redo a stone, for example. And that one will be the last edited. So I edited the curve, I edited the ring size, etc., etc. So you can have also like what you edited before. So that's also something which can be really useful. Linked items, just to show how your tree is organized. So you can see that from this stone, I have the extrusion which is related. So if I want to remove the stone, you have to know that the extrusion is related. So that's a kind of how my tree is organized with the associativity. So that's also good information to see where you are and how you are organized with your creation. And also, and this is the last one, the created on, which shows where I created, for example, my stone, and it is on the OXY. So those things you know already. You have those things on the V11, but it is with the iris better for the access, better for the visibility, readability also, and then you have better understanding with where I want to go, what I have to use with icons and this menu, which is for me faster than the previous one. So how I set this iris? You have to go in the tools options and you have their contextual menu, and you can first, that's a pity if you disable it, but we don't want you to be frustrated if you want absolutely to have back your right-click menu. So if you want, you can enable it there. You can change the size also of the iris menu. So if you want to have it smaller or bigger, so this is in pixels and you can change. And after, this is how will be displayed more or less fast the animation and the tooltip. So by default is 500, but you can change it if you want to have it faster or slower. It's up to you. You will have to restart the software if you change that, but when you change something now in the software, you automatically you have a message when it is necessary to restart. You have a message in red which says please restart the software if you want to have your option or your modification applied. So what is new with the user experience and the interface? I want to show you that we changed something regarding the organization of your tree. So you just have to, let's do the example with a stone. Let's create 3 stones. Then voilà. So now I have the possibility to reorganize my tree according to the position of my items. So for example, if you want to select and you want to have the stone 3 or any items you have in your tree, between the stone and the stones 2, you can reorganize it by drag and dropping like that. So you can see I have a line, and automatically the stone 3 will be at the second position in my tree. So this can be useful if you want to reorganize, if you want to have all the stones in maybe on a specific position in your tree, or you prefer to have maybe the ring size at the bottom, or anything you want to modify. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is I can create folders directly with my right click on the part, and I click on new folder, and it can be like that, stones, and then I just have to drag and drop directly in my folder the stones I created, and then I have a specific folder with my stones inside. So that's also really good improvement when I have to reorganize my tree. Imagine that you have to reopen this creation in 3 months because you have to produce again the same ring. Then it is well organized with everything in folders, etc. And it will be easier for you to work back on this project. What is new also with the user interface? We have little things, as I will explain you at the end of the workbench. We have more than 60 bug fixed and improvements in the 3DESIGN version 12. Some are really huge regarding the job we spent and we have done on these features, I mean regarding the developments. Some are really quick to do, but it changes the game. Like for example, something I wanted to explain you regarding the timer. We imagine that you are on your 3DESIGN and you have to take a coffee, even a beer if you want. You stay like that, you have your break, or you have to discuss with a client. When the mouse is stopped, directly the timer will be stopped also. So you have an automatic pause according to the movement of your mouse, and this can be set in the options. Sorry, a lot of people is, I will just make it not disturb. I don't know. Anyway, sorry about that. And yes, so you can set these options, sorry, directly in the if F12 options. And then you go in miscellaneous there, and you can set it there, stop the timer after user inactivity. So if you have 0, we are like before, but if you have 2, after 2 seconds, the timer will be paused. So that's something we had so many times from our users. So we have that now in the V12. Something new also regarding the zoom window we have now in the sketch. So let's go in the sketch. So now we have a dedicated zoom window according to the position of the cursor, and it shows with a dedicated zoom where I'm drawing, where are my points. You see, if I have to position the point and I have to go between my stones like that, I don't have to zoom on my object. And when I zoom on it, you see it adjusts the power of the zoom. So this is something also you can set in your options if you want to have a bigger zoom. And then even when I select my point, I see where I am, and I can, for example, overlap my points. I can see, even if I have to check my curve, I can go through along the curve and see where are the problems or intersections. So for the moment, this is a zoom which is at 4, but if you want, you can set it. So again, you have to go in the options. And this is in display there. You go in display, and then you can change the zoom window size if it's too big or too small for you, and the zoom factor, which is at 4 for the moment, and you can change it. So that's also a really nice improvement for the UX in 3Design. It will help a lot to avoid problems and to bring also precision in your creation, and you don't have to be zoomed. Clearly you can have an overview of your creation, but you can still check on the zoom window where you are and how you draw or you set or you position your points. So that's a good point. And the good thing is, so if you don't want that, you can also disable it directly in the options. Yeah, there. In Sketch, you have automatically enabled zoom windows, so you can untick it if you don't want to have it. And when you are on the menu and in the tree, the window will be disabled automatically. And we have exactly the same in the 3D area. So you can enable it in view through enable zoom window. Again, you can add it in your QAT, quick access toolbar, and it can be exactly the same like in the sketch. So if you have to verify something, or if you want absolutely to have something which is really precise when you position a stone, for example, this can be really useful, for example. So again, you disable, it's an on-off button directly in my QAT there, or in view, and there enable zoom window. Something also, if you don't want to have the transparency in your tree, you can also disable the transparency in your F12 options. So this is there, miscellaneous, and disable tree transparency. So when you apply, as I said, you have this red flag saying you have to restart your software, but no problem. Now the start is really fast. Same than in V11. Voila, and I select, for example, my ring. And then you can see that I don't have anymore the transparency in my tree. So that can be useful if you don't like, or if you prefer the tree like that. Voila. So if you want to have more details regarding the little things we have with the UX, again, we invite you to read the what's new that I will provide with this video. And let's talk about the new screenshot to file and the new possibility regarding the animation and the possibility to export videos. So first one, I want to show you the screenshot to file. So again, you go in view and screenshot to file there. You can also drag and drop that in the QAT or in the middle of your iris. So the difference we have before with the previous versions is that now this is not a simple screenshot with the related to the resolution of your screen. We can do really high quality resolution screenshot if you have to work after on Photoshop for your website or anything. So that's a really good thing we have now in the V12. So you can customize the resolution. For example, 5000 by 5000, I can be fit on the object if you are not on the center, but currently I am. You can have a transparent background, and if you want to do the screenshot with the user interface or not. I want to be absolutely focused on the ring, so I tick the without user interface, and then I decide to save on my desktop, for example. So let's say ring 1, and I validate. Then, if I go on my desktop, I have my ring 1, and you can see that I have a transparent background. I have my high resolution. As you can see, if I zoom, this is really high resolution because I am 5000 by 5000. So you can use that on Photoshop, for example, if you want to add effects or anything. And it can be good for your catalog. So something which is also available in the V11, but maybe you didn't know that. If you have to do the screenshot with the same orientation for the ring, when you right-click with the iris menu on the background, you go there and you have the possibility to save the orientation you want to have for your different creations. So if you like, for example, this orientation, you can right-click on that one, on the background, I mean, orientation, and you go on the orientation 1, so you can save 3 orientations. I will save that one, so you save directly with this button. And it means that if you have to redo the same, but maybe you change the orientation because you wanted to check something, for example, I'm like that, I click again, and then I do this time load the custom orientation, and automatically I have back my ring. So for example, for your catalog, if you want exactly the same orientation for all the rings you have, you can do such a workflow, and you can save the screenshot. Or if you want to have different colors, anything, and you want to promote your rings on the let's say on your website, yeah, so that's a really good feature. So we have the screenshot to file. So again, I can do that with my resolutions, transparent background. I save where I want to save, so it keeps also the last value. I have this option if I want to have the same resolution for all the screenshots I create. And then I can do also the video. So that's a really cool feature also we have in the V12. So you have to go in view and create animation. And then I can export a video. So you have two choices, video or frames. For the video, you select the duration of the video. You can have, for example, 15, for example, and frames per second will be the quality of your video. So if I have a lot of frames, I will have a really high quality video. It is longer for the calculation. For example, for that one, I need between, let's say, 3 and 5 minutes to create the animation. So I can also fit on the object if I'm not on the center, and I can add the background, which is your background. So if you have different colors, for example, you have pink and yellow, I have seen already such kind of mix. You can have also this background color, or you can also add a picture behind if you want. So for example, I click and I add that one. It can be your logo, it can be anything, and you put it on the center, for example, and top center, center left. Yeah, perfect. Then I have my picture and I can do the preview like that, and I have, so it's always the same. It's a turntable animation, 360 degrees according to the orientation of your ring, what you want to have in your scene. It can be also the same with a ring box we have in the library now. And you can decide which orientation you want. So this is the current view. Do you want to have on the top, for example? You can zoom and unzoom if you want to fit with the resolution you selected, for example. You can also draw your own line, which is segment in the sketch. Every segment you create in 3Design can be used as an axis, so that's a good thing. And yeah, you have the preview there, so you can see what the video will look like, and when you are happy with everything, you can validate. And you select the type of file you want. So if it's a video, you have MP4 or MOV. And if you want to have picture, it will be JPEG or PNG, and you will have a full range of sequence of pictures. You can use also in another software if you want. So that's something I really like in the V12. Then you can share your video, you can put that on your website, you can send a video to your designer team or your client. So yeah, I'm confident that you will have the best ideas regarding how to share and promote these videos. So yeah, I wanted to talk about something which is also really important. We have a new material database, so I will invite you to discover the new material database. You can also create your own materials like before, but with the new display technology, so it is more realistic. So let's come back on the material database. So we have reorganized a little bit the folders, especially for the metals. Inside, you have directly now the FX materials with sandblasted, brushed, etc. By the way, if you want to work like without reflection, you have also the solution to use the matte material like that. Also, it can be good. So you have the aspect of the gold, but without too much reflection. So that can be also a possibility when you want to work normally. I mean, you want to be focused on your 3D object. So you have a new way to create materials, especially for texture. So it will be a pleasure to explain you, or you can contact your sales rep if you want to have some explanation regarding such this area regarding the materials. It can be long to explain, so I prefer to tell you that we can, but maybe in another workshop I can explain you that in details. Something also we have to talk about is the new compatibility and the native compatibility with the new chips we have with Apple, especially on MacBook Pro and iMac. The new chips M1, M2, M3 are based on the ARM architecture, so that's completely a new technology that now Apple is using. And before we were compatible with Apple, but through Rosetta 2, which is a kind of translator between our technology and ARM chips. And now the good news is that we are fully native compatible with this architecture. So it means that the software will be faster, definitely. We had sometimes some operations which are 3 or 4 times faster comparing to the normal software which is not based on the native compatibility. So this is a really good news for our Mac users, especially if they have M1, M2, M3 chips. So this is only for those chips. And something I wanted to say also, we changed the version of Java. Just for you to understand, this is the main language we use in 3Design, and we were on the version 8 on V11, and now we are version 17. So that's a really big jump. It makes the software more stable for the performances also, faster, and also for the security. So that's a really good point in V12. This is something we wanted also to work on to maintain and also for the future proofing. So that's a really good point. Those 2 points are not easy to explain because this is the back office. We talk about the language, the technologies, etc. But you will feel that especially for Mac regarding the native compatibility, but globally for Windows and Mac, you will feel that your software is more stable, faster, and it improves also the performances. So, as I said, we have huge improvements, but we have also a lot of little improvements in the software, which makes the software more stable and more performant. For that, I will invite you to read the What's New. So let me open the What's New. I have the What's New in French there, but I have in English also. So it will be good for you to have a look because maybe you will recognize some bugs you had with the V11 or other versions. So all the improvements are listed there. So we covered mainly everything, especially for the UX, the rendering, and other aspects. We improved some points regarding Shaper, so I will let you read directly what are the improvements. We improved the modify curve, especially for the offsets. They are better now. We improved the variable channel also, and we have plenty of miscellaneous topics you will discover in reading the What's New. Some of them are really cool, especially for, well, sometimes this is really high modification, I mean, regarding the developments, and definitely the feature is better and faster. So yes, again, I will share with you the document, then you can cover point by point for regarding the improvements. And I invite you also to visit our web page regarding V12 with all the explanation regarding what we covered today together. So thank you very much for your participation. I'm looking forward to have your feedback regarding the 3Design V12 version, and see you next time for another workshop, and have a great weekend or week. Bye bye.